Hey there, guys. I hope everyone can see and hear me okay. I am out on a rather cold day, but it's cold, but it's beautiful. And I'm not a huge fan of the cold, but it just really got me to thinking about life and how life can be. And a lot of times there are negatives and positives that come together with life and just make life. And so it's just like the cold. I'm not a huge fan of it at all, but I love the beauty of the snow. And I just think that it also speaks to the seasons, and I'm more of a sunshine and spring and summer type of girl, not winter, but there's a lot that I can appreciate about the winter too. And I think that if we would learn to look at life that way and appreciate the beauty in every season of our lives, that, we can get a lot more out of life and appreciate it more and have gratitude. And just the fact that we recognize that life isn't perfect all the time and it's not going to be perfect all the time, then I think that just opens our hearts and minds and our spirits up to everything that comes our way. And it doesn't mean that everything that comes our way is going to be great and amazing, not at all. And it doesn't mean that we have to say, oh yeah, this crappy thing that happened to me is great and amazing. But what we can say is, this crappy thing that happened, 2020 for instance, there are lessons to be learned, and there are things that we can get from any negative or bad thing. And I feel like when we keep experiencing bad times or negativity, or we feel like something just keeps happening to us over and over and we're wondering why, the reason is probably because you haven't learned the lesson yet, or I haven't learned the lesson yet. So that was one of my biggest takeaways from 2020, is just being able to say, okay, what did I learn from this year? What did this year teach me? Because it wasn't all bad. Up until March, it was just pretty much like any other year. My husband and I booked a dream vacation in February, obviously not having any idea what was just a month ahead of us, even a few weeks ahead of us. And then I'd say right after the pandemic and all the shutdowns started, my mom had to be hospitalized, and we had very little contact with her because we weren't allowed to be in the hospital with her. And that was eye-opening for me, because for one, or at least myself anyway, took for granted first responders and the medical staff and how much they do, because they were having to do triple the work. They didn't have any family members there to help, go get ice or do anything that family members do when they're in the hospital with a loved one. They were doing it all, and they were short-staffed. And so that was really eye-opening to me. But, the nurses were all still great and fantastic, and, kept us up to date on what was going on with my mom. And so, that was the first kind of, I'd say, negative experience, but definitely eye-opening of 2020. And then, June, my mom obviously was doing much better, and my mom and Braylee and Barrick, my kids, and we went to North Carolina to see my sister. We flew, we had a great trip. I know that some people, probably questioned the trip and, why are you doing this in the middle of a pandemic? But honestly, it wasn't bad at all. Kudos to Southwest. We flew Southwest, and it was just a great trip. And we had a wonderful time. It was beautiful in North Carolina. We got to go to the beach, and there was social distancing or physical distancing happening there, so we didn't have, to worry about any of that. And it was just a great trip. We got back the first part of July, and then by mid-July is when things really kind of started changing for me, and my world was rocked a little. And that was, I had a virus. It was not coronavirus. It wasn't West Nile virus. We don't know what virus it was, but I had a virus that caused me to get sick. It went to my brain. I've had a lot of crazy symptoms since then. Just facial numbness, tingling. My face was sagging. I had numbness and tingling down my left side. We thought maybe I had a stroke. I got tested for MS. I have 5 lesions on my brain. Not sure what caused them. Still kind of the jury's out on that, but they do know that there was inflammation in my brain that was caused from a virus. So still not sure if the lesions, were from the virus, or if they were already there from left from migraines. So not sure, but needless to say, I've been getting better. I still do experience symptoms that I was having this summer, but I am a lot better. I always say, like, I'm kind of silly, corny, and flaky anyway, and I didn't really need any help with my brain, because when your brain's affected, you don't think the same and act the same, and you're just not as quick and spontaneous and all that kind of stuff. So crazy thing was, during that same time, a little bit later, my dad, towards the end of July, beginning of August, started getting sick and wasn't getting better. It wasn't until the middle of October he was diagnosed with COVID. Had one of the highest viral loads of COVID that they had seen in our county, and he's been struggling ever since. It's been tough. We're pretty sure the virus went to his brain, impacted his brain as well, and so even though we didn't have the same virus, we had a lot of the same effects. And it's hard, it's hard to struggle and not even really be able to control it. It's a little different than kind of a mind over matter situation. But he's getting better, and I'm thankful for that. Thankful for my health. My husband and I got to take our trip to Jamaica at the end of November, beginning of December, and got to spend Christmas with our kids. No big Christmas celebrations or anything this year, but all in all, I just I'm not sad to see 2020 go. One of the big things for me too for 2020 was that I left my job, my day job that I enjoyed, but it just is not my dream job, and I'm doing my dream job now and working every day to get closer to dreams that I have. So I just wanted to kind of do a little 2020 year in review with you guys, and just, I guess, challenge. I always like to challenge people. My challenge is just to really look at this year and any year and say, yeah, there's probably going to be some negative things throughout the year, but there's some positives, and what lessons do I need to learn from all of this? So this is Kelly Renee Baker. Hope y'all are having a great day, and I want to wish you a happy 2021.